It's Monday.
Monday.
Monday,
feels
Monday, Monday.
like Monday.
Now I feel like singing it's just another manic Monday. It's just another manic Monday.
Whoa. I wish it was Sunday. I really do wish it was Sunday. Kind of.
Well, yeah. What did I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said that the week feels like there's only like 3 or 4 days. They're like, you cannot convince me that there's 7 days in a week. There's only 3 or 4 because you wake up and then all of a sudden it's lunch and then it's the next day, and it's one day.
It is. And since COVID, it feels like everything's a blur. Anyways, there's no weekends. There's no weekdays. I think if you're in the U.S. watching us, you probably are slowly getting back to normal, right? You're slowly, like we watched the hockey game last night, and my son watched. I wasn't really watching. I was watching the crowd, and what was interesting was the place was full.
Wow.
And
wow.
We're just not even close to that yet. But no masks, and the arena was full, so it was kind of surprising, right?
Crazy. Well, I just want to give a shout out. Teresa's joining us this morning. I just want to say happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Teresa. Great.
We were, the June birthdays are rolling in. So if a lot of people are born in June, I am one of them. I'm not sure what happens 9 months before June, but
something major, I guess.
Is what it is. So how was your weekend? I'm going to let you kick this one off.
Well, it was the usual, because I was painting. You're painting with me for a little bit. I was painting. It was really hot. It was an interesting time here. I've never heard of gypsy moths. Do you guys know what those are? So I didn't know it, but this is a big year for gypsy moths. Yeah. And they start with an infestation of caterpillars. And it's crazy. They're like everywhere. So what you were planning on doing, you kind of go, ew, I don't want to do everything. So I'll stay inside and paint. But it's not what I really wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about this morning, and I've talked about it before, is the importance of over-delivering in customer service and not under-delivering. So, I'm very, very focused on making sure, as we both are, making sure that our customers are happy. If you, for example, join the Mastermind City community, you'll see that we have information, training, live events literally every day. There's something that you can go watch, learn, whatever, every single day. We want to always add value. And so if somebody's not happy, you want to look after that as well. So I ordered an umbrella, patio umbrella, from Bed Bath & Beyond. Big shout out to this awful company. And I ordered it online because that's all we can do here. And they, shockingly delivered it early, because it was supposed to deliver at the end of June. So it came to my cottage, and after a long day of painting, and I was exhausted and sweating and couldn't move because I'm getting older, and I didn't realize how taxing painting is on you. I get up to the step, and there is this massive broken box that did contain an umbrella. It was totally
there was an umbrella in there,
totally wide open, bent. There was pieces everywhere of this umbrella. So the delivery literally just threw it. That's all I can tell. Threw it on the steps, didn't care, and everything fell apart, and they just left.
just from my perspective, I was about 5 minutes behind her, going to her place, and I get there, I park, and I go to walk up the stairs, and I'm like, Like, why on earth? Like, I still sitting there going, why on earth would Faye open the box and then walk away? Like, that just doesn't seem like something that she would do. So I walk in and I'm like, I have a question. And then I hear the story. Crazy.
It was crazy. And like on top of that, I can't really, it's huge and I can't lift all these pieces or anything. So I left them sitting there, obviously, on the stair. And I tried everything. I tried chatting, tweeting, emailing, you name it. And their biggest response was, well, we can get someone to pick it up and schedule somebody, not like right away. And then once it gets to the warehouse, you can ask for a refund. And I'm like, or we can send her a new. And I said, hang on here. I've already paid for this. Don't you think it works the other way? Shouldn't you immediately say, we're really sorry. We don't know why that delivery person did this. We're really sorry. Why don't we send out a new one? And when we send it out, we'll pick it up. And that way they still keep the sale, right? And they make me happy. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do.
Yeah, very easy.
But they wouldn't. And they said, no, we have to receive it back here. And I go, but here's the thing. I'm sending you pictures. This is the mess you left me. Like, it's not like I don't like the product. You left me this ridiculous mess. And she's like, well, can you bring it to a store, curbside, and we'll replace it then? And I'm like, I can't even pick it up.
No, and plus the fact that there's 1,000 pieces. Like, I mean, I'm fascinated, and I'll talk about this after. But there's 1,000 pieces, and they are everywhere. So I don't know whether we got them all back into this.
We don't know.
Not like no idea.
And we don't know. Like
a lot of effort to wrap. Like we would have had to have like literally like it would have been a lot of work.
And they wanted us to do it. They wanted me to do this because they screwed up and they wanted me to have to do it, which was, beyond my comprehension. So as I said, if you guys go to Bed Bath & Beyond and look up a red cantilever umbrella, you'll see my review. I sent a review. I sent a review. I did a post. I did a tweet. I did, you name it, anything I could think of. And not one person from the leadership team, from customer service, nobody has contacted me. No one. And then I read all the Bed Bath & Beyond reviews, and everyone talks about how horrible their customer service is. So it's fascinating to me in, drilling it back down to what we do for a living in the midst of the fact that social media is everywhere and they don't care, right? They just don't care.
It's fascinating that, again, I mean, I understand. I've worked in customer service. I've worked retail for many years. All the different aspects. So I know that systems have overrides. So I understand policies and understand systems, and typically sort of the front line or the sort of that, lowest level customer service person doesn't have the authority or the password to go to the next level to override some of the system information that they have. They need to go through, they have a book, right? They're like robots. It's
and I escalated, by the way.
Yeah, we need to receive it, and then we can process it. Well, no, you can override that because I've worked in all the different computer systems and stuff like that. So it's so frustrating when you see a company like that who's not willing to go that extra mile. In the meantime, many weeks ago now, I told you the opposite story of a smaller business where there was a mistake, and it's like, how can we jump through hoops to make this better for you? They sent it out. They didn't want me to do anything. They were apologetic. Like, here's the right product. I don't want the old one back. Here's extra. Like, they just went so above and beyond. And here we have a larger organization that is being more difficult to work with. And it's not okay.
It's not okay in the fact that, I guess, number one is, it's not like I said, I don't like it or there's some minor scratch on it or anything, right? They not only made a mess and I couldn't, even clean it up. But on top of that, they knew, I sent them pictures. Everything was their fault, right? Everything was their fault. But, again,
and it's broken.
In the age of social media, they don't care that I'm posting all these bad reviews and terrible things. They don't care. And to me, Mark Triton, I think that's his name. If you're listening on LinkedIn, or if anyone knows him on LinkedIn, who is the CEO and president of Bed Bath & Beyond, Shame on you, because I'm sorry, this comes from the leadership. You are the CEO. You make the calls on what's acceptable or what's not. When I ran organizations, I've always told everyone this: if it gets to me, there's a problem, right? Because I've clearly told my customer service reps, you fix it, right?
Yeah.
Do not let it come to me. You have the authority to fix the situation. And if they fix it and I don't like it, it's okay. It's my problem because I gave them the authority. But I would rather give somebody the authority to make that change and make a customer happy, so that the customer would have tweeted accolades, right? But you know what? Shame on the leadership team. And so it's a big lesson. Again, we talk about customer service a lot, but it's a big lesson for anyone who's running a business out there. Same thing. Don't ignore somebody that has a problem with your brand, because you know what? You might think it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal in their life.
Absolutely.
And if social proof right now is huge. For organizations. And it's true, because if somebody says to me, I'm going to order this from Bed Bath Beyond, I would tell them run in the other direction. Do not buy anything from them unless you're curbside or you walk in the store, right? But do not let them deliver, because they obviously aren't capable of it. And the other piece is, do I really want to support a company that doesn't care about their customers?
Right. So I've always been in the mindset that it's absolutely fine to make a mistake. 110%. This was a mistake that the delivery person made.
Right.
And all good. You are allowed to absolutely. You go to a restaurant, you go to any retail establishment, any service industry, mistakes happen. How you fix that mistake is what shows your integrity within the organization. Same thing, like, everyone's like, oh, they shouldn't make mistakes. Yes, absolutely. We're all human.
Yeah, we make
mistakes 110%. How you address it and fix it. Like, I know back in the day, when I was teaching social media, everyone was always worried about that bad social proof, right? Like, what if someone posts something negative? That's your opportunity. You want that. You want them to, but because you also want to showcase publicly how you're fixing that mistake, so that people go, oh, it's okay. They made it better.
But you know what, Stacy, given that, your lane has always been social media, don't you find it fascinating that companies don't care anymore? They went from, we're so worried about getting a bad review, to now they just go, whatever.
Because I think when a company gets big, they weigh the pros and cons. Right. So there's enough positive reviews out there, and they feel that they have brand identity and brand recognition, that when you hear something like Bed Bath & Beyond, you go, okay, well, it's a recognizable brand. So they feel like their brand reputation supersedes, and those individual bad reviews are only one-off cases.
Right.
So they don't put, as I don't think in larger companies, smaller companies, 110%, because that's all they have is that social media and social proof. But larger organizations, when they really have that brand identity, I think they rely too heavily on that. And I think because again, we're talking about different generations here too, right? Like now we're, we work differently than the younger generations. The younger generations don't care about your brand. They care about those customer reviews.
They do.
They look and they focus on what's said on social media. They rely on the referrals from social media. That's their only go-to. So if companies are not paying attention to that, I think it's extremely short-sighted.
And that's what we, in fairness, that's what we do too, right? As soon as we might be looking at an app or looking at some software, and the first thing we do is go to reviews. First thing we do is like, let's see what people are saying about this company, about this organization. What do the reviews look like? Because immediately that's what you're doing. Like when you're Googling, if you're debating between two products, what do? You Google this versus this, and then all these reviews come up, right? So the fact is, you can take a chance when you're getting, but if you see 10 bad reviews, which I never noticed, right? Because I didn't read the reviews on this one. I was just looking for an umbrella. 10 bad reviews. If you go look at that product, you should see all the bad reviews, and they're all customer service driven.
But
right?
again, you didn't look at the reviews
I didn't.
because you relied on the fact that
It was a big company.
it was a big company and that they would stand behind their products.
Absolutely never occurred to me that, if there was an issue, because any big company, I always go, oh, if there's an issue, they'll just like drop a new one, take it back, whatever. Because it's happened in the past for things, right? It's not a big deal. Eventually, you get the solution. I guess the bigger issue is really like, there's one thing about not getting it fixed, which it still isn't, obviously, but the other is being ignored, right? Yeah. Like just not being ignored. And it's funny because I ran, big organizations with, 400 stores and points of distribution and tons of employees. And I know what it's like to be in their seat. And I'm like, I can't believe that they wouldn't, immediately go fix this because this is getting ridiculous. If it's my company, I would never let it go that far. Never. If I'm like, I've tweeted twice. I'm going to go back on after this and do it again, right to the CEO. But it's not the damn umbrella, right? It's the principle. It's the principle of running a business and running it well. And that part really bothers me. And, we have a platform, Stacy. We can talk out loud. We're not afraid to send messages and stuff. That's who we are. But what about the people that are afraid to, that won't complain, that will just sit there and take it?
And you know what? Bad on them from a large organization perspective, because now everyone has a voice. Yeah. And that's the other piece, is that, again, that short-sightedness, that we have a voice now and everybody's now going to social, especially the younger generation, going to TikTok, talking about these things, reviewing products. Like there's a lot of people out there doing that. And, this kind of smaller, quote unquote, individual who, might be living in a small town, whatever, they now have a big voice, that can have a lot of impact even in a smaller group. So it's very interesting that they're not seeing that.
Well, one of the trends in business, and we're going to talk about trends later today, right? On Monday's Master Monday, so 12 o'clock EST. But one of the trends is user-generated content. And so, like it or not, user-generated can be negative. And so I've generated content for Bed Bath & Beyond today. Yay. Unfortunately, it's negative. So
right. But then you also ask the question, is bad press... they always say any press is good press, even bad press is good press. And I don't, you're right. I don't agree with it, because again, the opposite could have very easily happened where, if you had wrote that person on chat immediately, which you did, you went to that first, and they had said, we're really sorry, we're sending this out, blah, blah, blah. We would have been talking about a very different story this morning.
Yeah, I would have said how awesome they are, right? And unfortunately, and I would have ordered again from them. Do you think I'll ever order from them again? Never. Yeah. Never.
And Linda's just saying, without your customers, you have no business.
Exactly. And I remember... So everyone knows, so that they know I walk the talk, I'm going to give a big shout out to Wayfair. I've ordered so much from Wayfair in the last 2 weeks because of setting up the farm. And they are fast, efficient. They deliver. The boxes are intact. Everything is the way it should be. I'm shocked at how good. I've never used them really before. I used them a couple of times to buy things for some of my customers for lighting for commercial projects and stuff. But they have been awesome. So yay, Wayfair. Boo, bad news, Bed Bath & Beyond. And I hope you are having a better day.
Somebody else is saying that they love Wayfair.
Yay.
So again, but that just shows like where is the repeat business going to go? It's going to go to Wayfair, right?
Yeah. It is. I'll never order anywhere else. So hopefully you have more exciting and fun stuff to talk about.
So while she was painting on Saturday, I was putting together a basketball net.
No, that's true. Uh-oh.
I am shocked at how many pieces a particular item can come in.
Right.
Like I understand. I mean, anybody who's worked with IKEA stuff, right? You get the stuff, you get the little screws and the attachments, and you move on. This was like this massive basketball net came in a box like this big. So you have to put it together, and that was fine. But a Shoto, I can't remember the brand. I wish I could, because I'll give them a Shoto. But what they did, so I'm all about systems. I love systems. We know that.
Yeah.
I love it when, people think ahead before they start to pack. So again, with products, especially these ones. But what they did that made me, oh my goodness, so happy. I'll talk about the happy side. It made me very happy. So because it was such a massive thing, and it took probably about 5 hours to put together. It was started with me, then me and my son, then there's 3 of us, then there was 4 of us. Like Faye, I was like, come, you need to hold this, because there's like, I need about 16 hands. I need about 2 octopuses to put this thing together. It was very crazy. So anyway, what they did is like put this part, like this piece. So they broke it down in sections, and then they gave you the bag of stuff separately. So it wasn't like there was this big bag of like nuts and bolts and screws and nails and all this kind of stuff just all together. They separated them out. Now, from a manufacturer perspective, that takes more time.
Way more.
It would have been a lot easier to just throw them all in a bag and throw it all in a box, and here's the instructions. Good luck.
Yeah.
But what they did is they broke it all down. They labeled the bags separately. They like everything was just so organized that you were very quickly able to see, okay, I've got everything. Like it was difficult to put together, because 3D drawings, I'm sitting there, I'm like, and I put a couple of things together wrong. So undo, put it together, whatever, that kind of thing. So this massive thing was so cumbersome in the beginning, but because they broke it down into little pieces and they gave you everything you needed together, the process moved. You were able to move the process forward, even though there was about 1,000 pieces to put it together. So the interesting part came when we're like right at the end, like we've almost got it all done. We're right at the end, and the last page was just like this, like quarter of the page. Well, all you have to do is attach the spring to this hook. Like, no problem. It's just attach the spring. Like, they make it look silly. It's like a quarter of the page. Like, we've done a 14-page document, and this is like the last little tiny piece. Okay, that took about an hour. But the interesting part is there's 2 types of people in the world.
Yeah.
There's people who will look at a problem like that. I mean, the spring it's a hard spring. You couldn't just pull it down and hook it up. That is kind of the way that the picture showed.
Right.
But it was hard. We had to figure out how to position it, but the spring is really strong spring. So you couldn't just pull it with your hand. You needed something else. And what they had shown to do, it didn't work. So there's people who would look at the problem and be like, I can't figure it out. We're done. Like, I don't know what to do. It's not that, it wasn't crucial to the operation of the item. So we could have very easily walked away from it and said, forget the springs. No big deal. But then enter Jeff. I showed it to Jeff this morning. Jeff was MacGyver. So for the generations that are probably 35, 40 plus, might know who, even older actually, might know who MacGyver is.
There's a new MacGyver now.
So. There is a new MacGyver. He's not as cool.
No.
In my opinion. The old MacGyver is cool, right? He was like able to make a bomb out of like marshmallows and orange juice.
It's true.
So trying to figure this out. And I think what was really interesting was watching his brain work. Right. It was just like, he was very systematic. Like he would try this and it'd be like, okay, so this got stuck. So then he's looking at this and he's looking at and I could see the wheels turning in his brain. And all of a sudden he was like, we need string. And it was like, you could just see it. I was like, okay, pass me that. Okay, you do this. You hold the gloves, blah, blah, blah. He wrapped it around. He's like, and it worked. And it was just so interesting. So again, those problem solvers, right? Like they see a problem, they look at it, and they're like, yeah, I can do this. And he wasn't giving up. And I think that's my biggest respect was he wasn't giving up. Because again, it would have been so easy to just unhook it from
and say, I can't do it.
I can't do it. Put the spring aside. Again, it was not crucial to the operation of the basketball net. Everything else was built. It was all put together. The trigger, it was all done. And, but he goes, no, like we're getting that spring on there. If it's the last thing I do, I would have been there at like midnight going, that spring's getting on there if it kills me to do it. But I loved, again, it was try this. And then that idea led to, oh, okay, let's try this. Then that didn't work. And you learn along the way. Yeah. And then he goes, wait a minute, I need something that can do this. And he looks, and it was the wrapping of the box, that plastic thin, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Whatever. And we were able to use that to pull the spring because it's really strong. And it was just, I was just so fascinated. And that's what ends up happening, right? You try something, you fail, you try something, you fail, you try. But every single solitary time he learned and we learned what worked and didn't work. So that at the end of that very, very long process, it worked.
Yeah.
But again, didn't give up. He tried something and it, you know, I think we tried 4 or 5 different things.
Well, I think that's the key is this, it's the same lesson for anything. And it's for those of you guys who, you know, I can't do a video, I can't do a podcast, you just keep at it. You find somebody like, you know, Jeff came in, Stacy couldn't do it, right? So you find somebody that can, and they come in and do it for you. So that's when you use a coach. That's when you get an online program, a YouTube video, whatever. Like, you don't have to know the answer. You don't have to know the answer
at all. And I didn't know the answer. But the other piece that was really crucial, and this last one, was teamwork. Like, it literally took a village of the 4 of us to get this thing together. And, you know, I approached and was like, okay, now I need a little bit of help. Go and ask, okay, now we need a little bit more help. Yeah. You know, bring that in and hold. Then we needed, okay, now we needed a 4th person. So it's like, Faye, you need to put the paintbrush down. Yeah. Come down and we need to do
hold. This. Don't do anything else, because I know you can't.
Don't move. But, you know, again, we all had our different pieces in that. So again, you don't have to do it alone. Sometimes you can't do it alone. And sometimes you need help. And that's what, sometimes it takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. And that's the whole reason that we even started the community, right? Is because we knew there's people with all different levels and different backgrounds and different skill sets. And, you know, the thing is, I keep saying over and over again, people are willing to share. You know, we do these lives 3 times a week, and then our Master Mondays, and then all the rest of them. We do these for you guys to learn from. And, you know, and you're probably sitting there going, why are they talking about umbrellas and basketball nets? Because we learn from our everyday situations. So when you have a bad customer experience, you recognize, you take that and make sure that doesn't happen to one of your customers. When you're selling a product, you make sure you lay it all out with great directions and easy instructions so that the person getting it can make sure they know how to do it. When things go bad and you don't know how to do it, you find yourself a community, a team, whatever, to get you back in. Everything that happens in your daily life is where you learn those lessons. And that's why Hot Topics was so interesting for us to do, because our everyday experiences really shape what we do in business, right? And it's important for you to look at your experiences and go, okay, what have I learned from this so that I can make sure that it works out, you know, in the end. I just want to give another shout out. It's Lifetime is the basketball system.
There we go. Okay.
So again, big shout out to companies that do great jobs.
Yes. Thank you, Lifetime, for how you package things, because so easy to understand, labeled really well. And we were able to end up with a finished product that was amazing. So
yeah, because like, it's funny. Sometimes you'll get like, the picture's always beautiful, right? This big, beautiful thing. And you never expect it to come in a million pieces, right?
Literally, I think it was literally a million. Like,
you might not order it. And I'm like, so just so you guys know how, you know, how smart it is for organizations, again, to make sure their instructions are laid out and everything. When I was looking for bed frames and that on Wayfair, I looked at the instructions because they're on Wayfair. They have the instruction PDF that you can look at before you purchase. So I actually looked at them, because if any of them said 4,000 pieces and you have to put each piece together, I would have said no. With the one,
but then you sent it to me and I would have gone, well, that looks like fun. Yeah. I was like, do I get to put something together today?
It's true. But for me, the less pieces, the more I like the product. I like the simplicity of, okay, I just have to add a couple things here and there. You know, even IKEA, I got to give them credit. Yeah, there's a million bolts and stuff. But the truth is, there's very few pieces usually in their product. right? It's usually fairly simple.
Yeah.
There might be a million bolts, and their pictures aren't exactly the best sometimes, but they don't have, to get a bed, you don't have like 10 pieces of a headboard, right? It's
Right.
one headboard piece, which is what I'm usually looking for. Like one piece is good for me. I can handle it. And now with days of delivery, you don't really have to worry about it. Anyways, really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Again, big shout out to companies that do things well, and companies that don't, maybe look to smaller businesses who bend over backwards for their company.
Oh, and today, just so everyone knows, we are Master Monday. We're talking about business trends for 2021. Really exciting because it's such an interesting topic and we knew so many people could learn a lot. You can join us back here live through our community, through LinkedIn Live, YouTube, and our Facebook group today. So everywhere. For today, because it's business trends, join us at 12 o'clock.
See you then.
Bye.